Alright guys, so here's the Z900 headlight off the bike. Just to give you a quick look here. Again, I'm going to do some retrofitting here. There's some projectors in here. So I took off the housing, or the front cowling here, headlight. Now you got to disconnect the headlight housing from the front cowling here, and it requires is 4 bolts, if I'm not mistaken here. So here on the top here, so behind, you have a bolt right there. There, looks like a Phillips screw. So on both sides there, and then on the bottom of the cowling here, these Allen bolts here inside that you gotta take off, and that should remove the headlight from the front cowling. So I'm gonna do that right now, and then we'll check back in. So I forgot to tell you here, you gotta remove this here, which is the running light for the front cowling or front headlight here. So all you do is pull this off. Again, that's just for the running light here. Right here. So I'm gonna remove that. Alright guys, so got all the bolts out here, bottom here, top 2 here. Took out the running light here, plug here. So now it should just come right off from the front cowling here. So right now, just right off, should be no problem. So make sure you be careful here. You don't want to break anything here. Come right off, just like that. So here's the front cowling, got the headlight. Off to the side, and then here's the actual headlight housing here. So, as notice here, these rubber things here, just be careful, get one to just come out here, so make sure you don't lose this piece here. But other than that, that is how you take it off. So pretty straightforward. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven, I think at 275 degrees for about 10 minutes. It should loosen up the glue on the headlight housing, and all you do is pull it apart, and it should give you access to the reflectors. So I'm going to do that right now, and I'll be right back. So I got the oven preheated at 270. So one more thing here, I'm going to take off these rubber seals here on the headlight, just to make sure it doesn't get damaged or anything in the process. So I'm going to do that now, and then once the oven preheats, I'll pop this in for about 7 minutes, and it should loosen up the glue enough for me to pull it apart. Okay, so I did put it in there for 275. I put a piece of wood there that I can sit on, so that way it doesn't melt the plastics on the housing there. So I'm going to close it up, set timer for 7 minutes, and then when 7 minutes elapses, we should be able to pry it open, so we'll check back in. Alright guys, I just took it out of the oven, so now I'm going to attempt to press it apart. Let's see how this goes. Damage anything here, so take my time here. Just try to get my screwdriver pried into these crevices here. So I'm gonna keep doing that until I get open, and we'll pick up from after we get this all opened up. I'll see you guys in a bit. There you go. You guys have it. Right off. Once you get, so all I did was just take the screwdriver, pry the edges all around, and then find an opening and start pulling it apart. it's by hand here. Be careful, it is hot, so I do recommend wearing some gloves, some protection. But there you have it. It's off now. Off to fitting the projectors in. All right, guys. So I'm here now, back in the garage. I just pulled off the housing here. So I did disconnect. I took off the bulbs. So right here, the bulbs here. Also took off these reflector things here that goes in the middle of these holes there. So all it took was a Phillips screw. Take that off, so that's really easy. I didn't have to take it off, but I did that just to see if the projector would fit in there with the stock reflector assembly. Now it goes on there just fine, but when you try to put the lens back on the cover on this thing, it was hitting the cover and won't allow it to close all the way. So that answers my question originally. Could I use these stock reflectors and just paint them black for the projector in there? With these projectors, you cannot. It's too shallow in here. It's not deep enough for it projector to fit in there and have the lens cover on. So if anyone was thinking about that, I mean, you could cut into this and just have it go in there deeper, but that's not something I'm willing to do. It's a little messy when you start cutting things and you have to be exact with the cut, or your projector's out of alignments and there's no way to fix it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the bracket that came with the kit. So I'm gonna take this reflector housing off. All it requires is here are these two bolts here. Take it off, and then to pop off this little hinge here, let's attach this. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll check back in with you guys. Alright guys, so I did take this off here. I did have a little mishap because let me show you the housing here. So here's the housing. So like I said, these two screws right there, that silver one there, down there, you just unscrew those and it loosens up the adjusting screws, which are connected to these black adjusters there. And the hardest part, as you can see here, I broke it there, is this ball joint. I'll show you here. This ball joint here goes right in there. Now you're supposed to be able to pry this off with the reflector, but as you can see, that didn't quite work out for me. I actually ended up snapping it from the reflector. So then I ended up having to take those pliers and just pry this thing out. So be aware that if you're doing this, this part's really hard to take off, and you, like me, you might end up breaking it, which to me is not a big deal because I'm not really using those reflectors anyway, so no biggie there. But do note, we do need this ball joint here, so make sure you keep this here, as we're going to reuse this piece for the mounting bracket for the projectors. And also you want to retain those black adjusting holes there, so you got to take those off and plug them into the mounting bracket. So I'll show you that now on how that works. So like I said guys, you need to take some of this hardware here from the assembly here, the reflector assembly. So this right here, you need this right here. Take that off. So that's this side. You also need a second one here. We're taking these and putting them on the new mounting bracket because this will allow us to have adjustments to the headlight still. Retain that adjustability, which is good. Alright, you want to make sure that our cutoff line is perfect where it needs to be. And again, like I said, that ball joint, that was a pain in the ass to get out. Make sure you retain that because you still need that. Okay. So now, this, you can get rid of this, right? You don't need this no more. So we'll get rid of that, and then we'll get right into the mounting bracket here. So here's the mounting bracket here. I'm going to open this up real quick. See here. So those adjustability clips I was talking about that we needed to retain, we just take those and put them in where they need to be. This one goes here. Alright guys, so it was a tight fit. I had a hard time getting these things on here, but I was able to go and do it. It took some bit of force there. I think it was a little tight because it's painted black. Just be careful when you put these on. It might scratch the paint off, which we don't want, right, in a black book. So be aware of that. Last part is put on this bolt here, this ball joint. So with the kit, it does come with this little thing here. I'm not sure what you would call it, but basically this here. You take this right here, you screw it in. I think I will do that later once I get that projectors mounted on. It might be a bit easier to do it that way because the projectors do mount on here, and if I put this ball joint on now, I'm afraid it might interfere with my ability to go and get to the screws to mount the projectors. So I'll do that last, but I'll go ahead and try to mount the projectors now and get that started. Alright, so mount the projectors. Here we'll go and get the projector out. So let's take one of the projectors here, so we'll start here. I believe it goes in here like that. Now the way this mounts up, it's a little tricky because you have to mount it while also at the same time screwing on the shroud, because that's how everything's all assembled. The shroud here goes here, which lines up with these holes here. There's 4 of them. A projector, which lines up with the mounting holes, which lines up with the holes on the mounting bracket. Then you take a screw and you screw it back here, and so that screw mounts the projector to the bracket and the shroud to the projector. So it's a little tricky. There's some hardware here, so I'm gonna try show you how to do one, and then of course you just replicate the same thing on the other side of the headlight. So basically, how this all works is this bolt, this nut right here, goes on the front side of the mounting bracket like that, and then the screw goes behind with the washer here and behind here. So like that. And then, so I'm going to try to do that with all 4 holes here, then we'll try to mount everything. So it's going to be a little tricky. So I figured out the easiest way to do it is one by one instead of doing all 4 of them like I was trying to do earlier. So I got one in there, screwed it down. Now I'm going to do the other 3 here. And then once I get all of them in, I'm just going to turn them down. Alright guys, so I got the first projector in. So it was a little tough because the way the mounting system is, but once you got it on, it's on there pretty good. So just take your time. Just be very careful. Not scratch anything here. So that way it looks good. It's a finished product. So yeah, so I'm gonna do the second one here. Hopefully that goes on smoothly, and then we'll go back to it and we'll mount it on the housing and see how that looks. It's just a little update here. So we gotta make sure on the shroud here. So let me show you here. So you see the holes in there where the bolts go. Make sure the shroud holes there line up with those. The top part of the projectors, their holes are a lot closer, they're about 2 inches apart, and the bottom is 2.5 inches apart. So from here to here is 2 inches, from here to here is 2.5. So make sure you put it on correctly on the projector, or they won't line up. So I had that problem on this one here, so I just figured out that the top holes are a lot closer than the bottom ones. So be aware of that. Alright guys, so I got the mounting bracket onto the housing here. So all you need to do is first of all pop in that ball joint there. Into there. That's the hard part. You have to put a lot of pressure on it to pop it back in. So it took me a while there because I was trying to break anything. And then again, the adjustment screws back there. Screw onto those adjustment holes there. So looks like that. So of course I'll be adjusting the level of it when it's on the bike, but for right now it's good. So I'm going to go ahead and tie everything up and put the housing on. Alright, check back in here in a second. Alright guys, so I haven't fully put on the housing yet. I haven't, but I just pushed it in as much as I can for now. And then what I'm going to do is go and put in the oven again for 7 minutes at 270 degrees Fahrenheit. And then take it back out and push it back in completely and get everything fully sealed up. Alright, just give you guys a quick overview here. So here's the input here for the headlights. So I was thinking about with the harness, I'm going to run the wiring here with the existing OEM wiring. It's already in there. I'm not sure how much of this you can see, but it goes through there, and I'm assuming it goes through under the shroud here, under the tank, and then all the way back into the battery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these plastic shrouds here for the tank. And I think I'm going to have to take this off right here just to lift the tank up so I can get underneath there, do some rounding. So I'm going to go do that real quick, see what I can find, and then I'll check back in. Okay guys, so I was checking in here. I did put some of the wiring in there, actually that wiring harness. See, I fit it back here. So I'm going to try and clean up as much as possible here. Then I routed all the wiring through here with the stock wiring here. So if you check it out here, the wire goes down here, there, all the way around. And I popped it out here. Now as far as the ballast, I had a hard time finding a place. It took me a good hour to try to find a place for it. So I did put one behind this fuse box right here. I used double-sided tape that was included in the kit. Just placed it right on the side of the air box there, right behind this fuse box. And moved it around to the other side of the bike. On the right side, this was a bit easier. I mounted the same place as I did on the left side. But since there was no fuse box, it was much easier to get to. Then I took the wiring from the ballast here. See the black and white wiring goes through there, all the way through here. As you can see, I'm not finished yet, but it gives a good idea of how I'm routing everything. So I'm trying to make it look as clean as stock as possible. So now I'm going to test out the headlights, make sure they work before I tie everything back up. Alright guys, so I took a little ride out here just to show you the finished product. So there's the projectors right there. Not bad, not too bad, but it's a lot neater. So if you're looking to do this, I say it's well worth it. Like I said before, just take your time. So,